gentlemen of bygone day. They're the eyes of a man whose lust knows no bounds, who lives but for corrupting others to a life of carnal pleasures.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Horny Creek. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my fiancée, Carol. How are you today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week. It is May 13th, 1998, the beautiful month of May. You're jamming over there.
Yeah, I love our little intro. It makes me happy.
Does
it makes
it?
me dance in my seat.
It might be my favorite one. My favorite intro of ours. Your birthday's coming up, too, so I'm sure that makes you dance in your seats.
It is exciting. What's she gonna get me?
I don't know. Maybe I'll get you the dress that Joey wore in this episode.
I could not pull off that dress.
Pretty woman. No, you're too chesty for that dress.
And short.
She is. I don't know. They keep mentioning how tall she is. I don't know how tall Catherine Holmes is, but
Catherine.
that's her name, isn't it?
I mean, I'm pretty sure the Screen Actors Guild probably has her down as Katie, so
You think so?
I think so.
Okay. And
I don't know. I'm just
I don't know how tall she really is, though. Maybe she's really tall. I don't know.
I
She
don't
seems
know.
taller than Michelle Williams.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, because Jen's like short and curvy, and Joey's tall and less curvy.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. And one's blonde, one's brunette. There's all the differences in the world, but they're both beautiful.
In case you guys weren't able to process those things with your eyes, she just gave you a breakdown of what they look like.
Hey, maybe some of our listeners are visually challenged.
Maybe. But yeah, she looks quite tall.
Yeah. I mean, she's about the same height as Dawson, probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. She's model height. So
Yeah.
good for her.
Well, she's model pretty, too.
You think so?
Don't you?
Yeah, she's pretty.
I mean, like, her eyes, I think, are probably her best feature.
Runway pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, so here's the thing. So if her eyes are her best feature, you think she'd do like cover stuff, close up photography, as opposed to runway? But she's tall enough for runway.
Well, she could do whatever. I'm not pigeonholing her.
Oh, okay.
So this
Hand
episode...
modeling?
Huh?
Hand modeling,
I don't know about
feet
all that.
modeling,
But
bikini briefs.
sure.
Yep.
I know you'd like to see that.
Would I?
Uh-huh.
All right.
So this episode
Yes.
is...
Pretty Woman, it's called.
Yeah, it's about a...
Whoa, pretty woman.
Uh-huh.
Walking down the street. How about the David Lee Roth version? Pretty woman, the kind I like to meet.
Tell me that doesn't exist.
Don't walk away. Hey, yeah, it does. Van Halen did a cover of Pretty Woman.
Really?
I believe. What album was it on? I want to say it was at the end of. I don't think it was. I want to say it was at the end of Women and Children First, but I'm not sure.
Interesting. Well, I never heard that one.
Yeah.
But
They did a few covers. They did Ice Cream Man. They did, very famously, they did You Really Got Me on their first album, Van Halen 1. That's a Kinks song, but they, You Really Got Me, wow! Oh, yeah! I do a very good David Lee Roth impression.
maybe you should enter the beauty pageant talent contest.
Oh, yeah, baby!
Do your impressions.
Diamond David Lee Roth!
So again, this episode was about the Miss Windjammer pageant.
Miss Windjammer.
Such a weird thing. Like, they're talking about it's like all the rich people at the end of the season do this.
Yeah.
Like, in Cape Side, this little touristy town. Like, I don't know. It seems weird.
I swear to God, I now understand why because I think this stuff's real. Like, I'm pretty sure Kevin Williamson, this is like his youth.
Okay.
Like I'm pretty sure this is like based on his youth, basically. I mean, obviously not exactly, but I think a lot of the surrounding things, like Cape Side and stuff like that, is based on where he grew up, right? And I now understand why in the 70s and 80s there were so many like snobs versus slobs movies. You know, like fucking Animal House and shit like that, Caddyshack and that kind of stuff, where it's all these, and Summer Rental, which I have referenced before because the whole, you know, Rialta thing, like whatever they call it, the race, the boat race. But there are so many where it's like, oh, the upper crust of society, and it's like, we're a bunch of working class guys, fuck you, you know, and like,
Yeah.
but if I were a person growing up amongst all this, like, oh, don't you look droll today, I would probably write a screenplay where I beat the fucking shit out of these people. So I get it. Like, this is I haven't been exposed to this kind of upper crust high society. We didn't grow up around that shit.
Right. Yeah, me either. But I don't know. I mean, have you known anybody who's been in a beauty pageant? Have you ever attended them, or?
I have been to 2 beauty pageants.
Okay.
And I guess I've known some people that have been in them, yeah.
I've never been to a beauty pageant.
No?
I've never seen one, never participated. No.
I've been to a male beauty pageant and a female beauty
I
pageant.
didn't know they had male ones.
What was it called? Like Mr. Hunk or something like that? Or like, it was in a small town here in Michigan. And it was basically like, it was the male equivalent of like, hey, a beauty pageant, you know, evening wear and like, swim trunks and shit like that.
Wow.
The whole 9 yards.
Okay.
Yeah. So I attended that. And then I also saw a citywide, small city, but a citywide beauty pageant.
Okay. Well, the episode starts out with everybody sitting around discussing this beauty pageant coming up. And Jen reveals that when she was little, she was in lots of beauty pageants that her mother made her until she was old enough to protest, is how she put it.
Those are the creepiest ones. I don't know if you've ever seen, I've never attended those, but I don't know if you've ever seen like the little kid ones.
I mean, no, I've seen pictures.
Where yeah, I've only seen pictures.
With all the
too.
makeup and stuff, and it looks ridiculous.
It's like the Jean-Benet Ramsey
Yeah.
thing, like, you know, the little girl that got killed.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where they put the adult makeup on them and, like, pile their fucking hair up and, like, they try as hard as they can to make this little 5-year-old look like an adult from the neck up.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, fucking, I don't think there should be little baby or little kid pageants like that. But if there were, or I mean, the fact that there are, why would they it be like, hey, make them look as adult as possible? Like, that's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Like, make them look like kids.
Yeah, make them cute little kids, not
Exactly.
beautiful women. Like,
Yeah, that's why. Why are you going that way?
right. But Dawson kind of digs at Jen about it and says, oh, I bet you twirled the baton. And she's like, what is that supposed to mean? But, like, what is that supposed to mean? I didn't really understand how that was an insult.
I don't
exactly
know. I don't know either. Like, I think he was trying to be like, oh, yeah, but you were like a little cutesy, you know, whatever. Like, yeah, I don't know.
It seemed like everybody was just reading a lot more into this than I saw happening.
Yeah, I don't know what twirling the baton means. Maybe he means like playing with penises. I don't know.
I hope not.
It's a euphemism in Cape Side.
Right. And then, you know, Joey's like talking about how awful, you know, beauty pageants are, and she'd never ever, you know, deem.
I hate everything.
Yeah.
You know how Joey sounds.
Yeah. But she's talking to Jen about how she's, you know, tips are going down because it's the end of the season, and she's never going to be able to afford to go to college. And Jen's like,
she can't count on a full ride from Dawson or a scholarship.
right. But Jen suggests that she try the beauty pageant because there's a $5,000 prize.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Dawson's talking to Pacey.
whose father is an asshole. I mean, it really sounds like he's pretty emotionally abusive.
Oh, 100%.
At the same time, though, I mean, the things he brings up are valid in some ways. I mean,
I guess it's pretty mean.
he's talking about, like, he, stole his car, he failed biology, he went to Providence instead of going to school. Those are all things he did do.
Yeah.
But he doesn't need to call him a loser either.
No, and he says, hey, anytime you want to become an emancipated minor, just tell me where to sign.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
That is awful.
Just like disowning your kid. Like, great job, buddy.
Yeah. So Pacey's looking into an apartment.
He's the chief of Bayside, too.
Mm-hmm.
Or, not Bayside. Not Bayside High. It's not 90210.
No.
I mean, it's not Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, am I having a stroke? It's like word salad in my head.
Too many teen shows.
But yeah, he's the chief of Bayside, of Cape
Side. Chief of police in Cape Side, yes.
It's weird.
So this apartment would be $250 first and last month's rent.
Yeah.
That's not bad, really, for an apartment.
$250 is okay. I mean, it must be a one bedroom.
Right.
I don't know what prices are like on the East Coast, but
he would like to, afford a better place. So he's like, I could really use what?
Well, yeah, no, I'm taking umbrage with him, not you. I'm going to. I was waiting for you to finish, but
okay.
I was going to interject my 2 cents on what he said.
Okay. But yeah, so he decides he wants to be in the beauty pageant, again, it's Miss Windjammer, and he insists that, it's just unfair for him to not be allowed to try for the $5,000.
Right. So, yeah, he wants to win the $5,000 because, as Dawson said, that'll get you one of those nice bachelor pads or whatever down the whatever street. But it's like, what are we talking about? Paying, like, living there for 1 month?
Right.
Like, yeah, if it's $250, okay. If you win $5,000, that's like 2 years' rent or whatever.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He says he's not making enough money to pay rent. It's not like he doesn't have. It's not like it's just that he doesn't have first and last months.
Yeah.
He doesn't have enough money to afford the rent. So put that money in the bank and let it be your nest egg for the rent.
Yeah.
You're also going to have to pay for other things, dude. We moved in together, and I'll tell you, it's a litany of things you have to pay for. With, gas and electricity and, just all sorts of stuff. Cable.
Telephone.
So we can watch all these fucking shows for you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, telephone, exactly.
Food.
So there's a whole bunch of stuff you have to pay for on your own. So I take umbrage with him saying, like, I'm going to win that $5,000 and get into a $1,000 a month place. So you got 5 months. Good for you.
Here's the thing, though. He was talking about the apartment that was reasonable. Dawson's the one who said, you could get one of those fancy apartments. He might not have actually done that if he won. He might have actually done. Right. I think he'd been better with the money, honestly, than that.
So here's my question: since we're addressing this, what do you think about him entering the contest? Fair, unfair?
I mean, it was a waste of his time, no matter what, because there's no way he was going to win, and he should know that. It's not, but it just is. I mean, it's not fair that he doesn't have the opportunity, but it's a beauty pageant of women competing against each other for their beauty, and a guy, it's like a whole different category. Like, I don't think a guy can compete against a girl for beauty.
It's funny because Mrs. Leary mentions at one point, that you're not going to fucking win. Like, he's like, what are you talking about? And she's like, they would burn this place to the ground before they let you win their beauty pageant. Are you kidding me? Like, it's not going to happen.
Which he should have known. He's smarter than that.
Yeah, you would think. But they mention that a female student successfully sued the school to join the football team as a female. Are we cool with that? Are you cool with females being able to play football with the guys?
I mean, yeah, I guess, because it's the same. They're competing in a sport. It's physical, prowess, whatever. So it's a little bit different than like
physical attractiveness.
Yeah, it's different than comparing a handsome look to a pretty look than to see, two people like playing football that are guy and girl. I mean, the guy's probably going to win. The guy's probably going to be stronger, but
a beauty pageant is supposed to. These are the criteria or whatever. I don't know all of them, but it's supposed to be like academics. It's supposed to be poise. It's supposed to be talent. Swimsuit and evening wear, right? That's what you get judged on. So 2 of those are looks, swimsuit and evening wear. But the rest is, academics or like the, poise, that kind of stuff. Like I think that's equal between men and women. So what I'm saying is if we're okay with women joining male football teams, then I think to not be hypocritical, I think we have to be okay with Pacey doing this.
I guess we can be okay with it, but he's not going to win.
Well, here's the thing. That's not fair then. Just letting him join to participate is not fair. That's like hiring a token black person for a place to get around affirmative action laws and stuff like that. That's not fair. He should have as fair of a chance as anyone else. That's like saying, yeah, girl, you can be on the team. You're never going to get in the starting lineup. You're never actually going to play in a game. Mm-hmm. That would also be wrong if we're being consistent. Now, I happen to think in late fee 1994 at AOL.com, you can sound off on what you think or just yell at me. I don't think women should be on male football teams.
Okay.
If women want to start a female football team, then that's fine. And I don't think Pacey should be allowed in this contest. I think that it's okay having divisions between men and women. And if you want to do an all-male beauty contest like the one I attended, then I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I think women should be able to have their things, guys should be able to have their things. I don't think everybody should be able to... I don't think there's a reason for everyone to like, oh, we all have to do this, we have to do that. We don't need to all pretend that men and women are the same. They're not. They should be equal in the eyes of the law, and they should have equal opportunities and equal pay when it comes to jobs and things like that, right? But as far as like there are differences between men and women in general, and that's fine. And that's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And those differences lead to different things. And we don't all have to, like, not all women have to be into beauty pageants.
Right, for sure.
That's cool. There can be women that are into whatever. They're into being mechanics and shit like that. Stuff that, like, people don't, all women, what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that women and men have to fit in their traditional, like, gender roles. But what I'm saying is those things, like beauty pageants or football teams, should remain how they are.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn, honestly.
I was afraid that Pacey was going to win, and if he had won, I said this when we were watching this, if he had won, I would have been pissed.
Yeah, well, I don't think that there was ever any possibility that would ever happen.
Well, good, because that, to me, that would be unfair, taking the money away from a woman. I don't think that would have been right.
But you mentioned that the different categories, there was no swimsuit.
No, they didn't do a swimsuit, but some beauty pageants don't, I guess, but some do, or a lot of do. The Miss America thing, that's like the big. Yeah. Actually, I believe they mentioned that. I think Pacey asks if there's a swimsuit competition, and Dawson says, "I don't think so." He laughs as he says, "I don't think so."
So, for some reason, Dawson's working on this thing, and so is his mom.
Yeah, he's doing like a report. He's filming it for the school, and he's being like a roving reporter kind of thing.
And his mom is one of the judges.
Yeah.
So, Dawson's such a fucking asshole, though. Jen convinces...
Yes, he is.
Jen convinces
Joey
to enter this thing. And when Dawson sees her...
We have to first talk about how Jen and Joey are in line together at lunch, right?
Right, yeah.
And first of all, Jen's like, we should be friends. The proverbial wedge that is Dawson isn't between us anymore. And you know how they talk on the show.
I wonder why she thought that.
Thought what?
That he wasn't between them anymore.
Well, I don't know. The last episode, the Friday the 13th episode, they kissed, Jen and Dawson, and it's like, it seemed like things were moving towards reconciliation, and now it's like, oh, Joey and Dawson aren't talking right now, and Jen and Dawson are like, I don't know, whatever, on the outs.
Right. And
they're not discussing anything about getting back together at all. It's like everything's stalled. I don't know, it's weird. But, so as part of the friendship, that's when she suggests, she's like, hey, they're in line at lunch, and she's like, you should enter it. And she's like, ugh, and then they have this conversation, and Joey says, you don't need to pretend I'm beautiful or whatever. I know I'm not beautiful like these other girls or something like that.
She said, I know I'm not pretty.
Yeah. Like, what the fuck? What has happened to this woman that she thinks she's not pretty?
Yeah, that was pretty sad. I mean, it's fucking Katie Holmes. Like, she has obvious self-esteem issues.
Well, not Katie Holmes. But
no, but I'm saying, like, for the character who looks like Katie Holmes to be like, oh, I'm not pretty.
Right.
Like, what is wrong with you? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that was kind of fucked up.
So we already know she's feeling very bad about herself. Mm-hmm. And she walks up to sign up for this thing, and Dawson's like, oh, what are you doing here? Like, you doing something for the paper or like
well, he
an expose?
He says to Jen, he's like, oh, so you decided to enter, huh? And she's like, no, just coaching. Who are you coaching? And the only person there is Joey. Like, it's so out of the realm of possibilities. Like, oh, who are you coaching? Let me look around.
Yeah. Yeah, he's such an asshole.
Yeah, he handles this in the worst way. He's fucking laughing at Joey and shit like that. It's awful.
But despite that, she still continues forward. I think a lot of girls might have just buckled and left at that point.
Oh yeah, there was a lot of occasions where that could have happened.
And then Pacey is arguing to sign up, and apparently there's nothing in the law that says that he can't. Which there really should be, and they're like, we're going to redo our rule books,
right?
So he will be the only man who's ever been in it.
I guess that's an accomplishment.
Right, there you go. Joey, though, does a fantastic job because Jen coaches her, too, though.
Yeah.
Like, she teaches her. I remember doing this before, too, like walking with heels and a book on your head trying to walk straight. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, when you were modeling.
When I was in modeling school, yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I can't even imagine. Although I have a pretty flat head, so I think it'd be easier for me.
Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. Like Jen's ulterior motives here a little bit, maybe.
You think so? You think she has ulterior motives?
Maybe. I mean, she's constantly up Joey's butt to be friends. Why? Like, what has Joey ever done to...
Well, Jen says that when she was in New York, she didn't have a lot of girlfriends. Mm-hmm. And it seemed like Joey also didn't have a lot of girlfriends. And she wanted a friendship with a girl.
Okay. There are other girls that, you're not in competition with.
But there's no one else that, other than the bubble-headed idiots, apparently, in the entire school. That's what she says. I mean, it's ridiculous, but apparently the only two interesting women in the entire school are Jen and Joey.
I think Abby is interesting.
I think she's interesting too, but that she's only occasionally on the show.
But yeah, I mean, like, they're staring out the window at Dawson's house talking about him and stuff. It's just weird. Like, how are you two supposed to be friends? I don't know. She's pushing it. It's unnatural. I don't trust it.
I agree. It is unnatural, but it backfires on her.
Yes, it does.
I don't know what her motives were, but if they were in some way to try to get Joey out of competition or whatever, it completely backfires.
Well, she tells her at one point that her fear was always that Dawson was going to wake up one day and realize how beautiful she really is. Mm-hmm. And it happens. It finally happens in this episode.
We see James Vanderbeek or Dawson or whatever just like...
Yeah. Well, she does look very pretty in her evening wear, and then she sings "On My Own" from Les Mis.
It more than anything, though, I honestly think it's the confidence with which she carries herself and speaks.
Interesting. That could be.
Like, I don't think it's just like all of a sudden it's like, oh my god, Joey's in a dress.
I don't know.
I don't think that's it. Do you really think that's it? It's the first time Joey's ever put on a dress.
I mean, have we ever seen her in a dress before?
Well, we haven't, but I mean, come on.
Oh, I mean, he's just got the idea of her as like this young kid in his mind, and all of a sudden he sees her looking like a woman. I mean,
yes, a pretty woman.
Yeah, there you go. So Jen's trying while Joey is on stage, trying to distract Dawson and talk to him and be like, "Hey, I'm thinking about getting back together," but he's like not even hearing her.
Oh yeah, he's completely ignoring her.
And after the pageant, which by the way, she does not win. She comes in as first runner-up, though, which is pretty damn good for
Second
never
place.
having been in a pageant before.
That's right.
But no $5,000 prize for Joey.
No, instead some other asshole wins that we didn't even really see.
Yeah, who probably is rich and didn't need the money.
Right.
No, she gets a free day of beauty, which just makes her roll her eyes because, like, she's never going to do that.
Right.
But yeah, so after this, he comes up to her and is like, "Oh my gosh, you know, I finally, you know, see you and stuff." And she's like, "It's just makeup. I'm still me." What are you doing, Joe? Like, all you wanted is for him to have this realization and look at you, and he's looking at you, and you're like, "I'm just gonna go back tomorrow. Don't look at me.
It's not enough."
Yeah, you're supposed to just like realize that what we have is so great.
Right. It's like, yeah, this is the thing that men get annoyed about with women, is this shit.
Yeah.
But it's so weird because he says everything correctly, too. Mm-hmm. He said, it's like you blossom into this beautiful Joey. You're still you. You know, like, it just like this, I've seeing this whole new side of you and stuff. It's like, he's not saying you became somebody else or anything like that. He's like, you know, you're still my best friend and you're also this thing. Like, he's actually just seeing the different side of her. The romantic side. It's not even really seeing something new. He's looking at her in a different light, in a different way.
Right.
Which is exactly what she wanted.
And she says, "Nope," and walks away from him.
Right. It's not the lipstick, Joey. It's not the fucking hairspray that is making him turn his head.
Yeah. Ugh. Frustrating.
Yeah.
And then Dawson gets what he wanted because now he's home and Jen comes up and she's like, "Hey, how about we give it another chance?" Because she realized that she's losing him and she's like, "I better just go back in there full steam."
I mean, she didn't even really give a satisfactory reason, which she says, a satisfactory reason why she broke up with him in the first place.
Right.
Although he was being an asshole in that episode.
But he says it's not a good time.
Yeah. I've got some things I need to figure out. And she's like, well, you know where I am.
Yeah. And then the episode ends with him smiling this goofy fucking grin. And then Joey looking in her own mirror, like, doing her goofy fucking grin.
Yeah, they're cutting back and forth between the two of them.
Which, whatever, it was fine, I guess, but...
It opens as every episode of this show opens. Like, I think... I believe I said before we could write an opening to Dawson's Creek. I don't even think anyone's doing that. I think they're just copy and pasting fucking openings and changing some words a little bit here and there. Because they're like watching a movie or whatever in Dawson's room, like always, and it's the two of them. And Dawson says something about like, "Oh, there's got to be something genetic about why you love people and stuff like that, why you're attracted. It's an animal instinct or whatever." And Joey just kind of turns and is like, "I don't know, Dawson. I don't know why I love who I love. Who could it be?" And then it's, "I don't want to wait for our life." Like, that's how every episode opens. And it's like, I actually found myself getting kind of annoyed by the dialogue of this opening. I was like, I was rolling my eyes a little bit. I was like, oh my God, enough of this shit.
Well, I mean, it's like he's just been clueless. Now he's not anymore, though, so...
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We'll see what happens. I would rather them progress with something in this realm. Mm-hmm. And, even if it blows up in their face, at least that's some drama.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see them try, even if they fail.
Yeah, well,
I think we got one more episode.
we shall see.
Yep, one more episode. So we'll see what happens.
For the season, yeah. Season finale next week.
Yep.
So we'll
What
see
do you
happens.
think? Do you think that something's going to happen because it's going to be the season finale?
I think so, yeah. I think, first of all, I think they'll probably bring the show back. I think it's got enough viewers that they'll bring it back.
I hope so. I really like it.
It seems to pair well with Buffy, too. Mm-hmm. I don't think either one of them are, like, the most popular shows on TV, obviously. But, because it's, they're on the WB.
Right.
On the WB! And not NBC like Seinfeld is. But I think they're getting enough viewers. I think they're getting enough that both of them will probably keep going. But yeah, so I think probably they're going to do something. I assume it's going to come down to the age-old choice, right? And I think he's going to choose Joey.
We'll see.
Yeah. But that is the episode for this week. Carol, I don't know, say stuff.
So you can write us at latefee1994@AOL.com. Mm-hmm. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yes.
And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.